package just showed up. It is the best package on earth right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, show you guys what's inside, because this is gonna be amazing. I got a Link Strada 5-inch dash, man. Been looking forward to getting this. I thought this would honestly be the easiest thing to get out of all the Link things, but they were actually back ordered everywhere. I was looking everywhere. I emailed probably 10, 15 companies looking for one. None of them had them. They were all out of stock. So I just waited, and then they finally came back in stock, and my shipment came out. So thank you, Njuku, for actually getting everything figured out and finished up so I could get this as soon as possible. And then all the other shops that actually responded, letting me know that they're in the same boat. Appreciate it. I'm sure everybody else is getting their orders now. So now we can actually put this in the car. The most exciting thing. So that way, if this ever changes, I don't really have to worry about too many additional steps to make like a tack work or RPM work or anything. It'll just hook up right through the CAN bus, which is essentially going to be the same thing as this CAN gauge, just in a much bigger form and in a dash form. So sick to get this installed. Let's open this thing up and see what we got. More Link stickers, user guide, how to set it up. This is the crucial info that we're gonna be staring at 50,000 times before we get it right. So tiny, but I think it's gonna look good inside the car just because it's smaller compared to the 7-inch, which is like out here kind of thing. So didn't need all that. So I think this will do just perfect. So small, so compact. Street edition because it has all the street signs and everything, and our additional wiring stuff. Sweet. Right, we got our pins and our pin out for our connector. Oh, it's gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun, setting all this up. Cool. Now I need to go through all this stuff. All right, so ignore the wind noise per usual. It's still kind of warm at night, but I'm pretty much gonna use this copper wire on the Strada connection to hook all these up and extend all these wires essentially. We got power, we got ground, we have our CAN high, we have our CAN low, and then yellow's reserve. I'm not sure what reserve is, but it's reserve. So we're just gonna extend these enough to where we can basically get from over here all the way over there. And then we're going to hook up our CAN connection, which we have right over there. The little tab just to hook it up, make it easy. So it's plug and play. So let's knock it out real quick and get these extended. All right, so I thought I had a female version of this, but I don't. I only have male, so I need to get a female one. But overall, everything for this is extended. So we got our connection and all our extra wires. That should run perfectly fine underneath the dash, so we should be good there. Sorry, there's a fly that won't leave me alone. So now we just need to get a female version so we can actually hook these wires up and then plug it directly into our CAN bus, and we should be set. So we'll get waiting and ordering on that, and then I'll start working on fixing some of this other stuff I'm doing. All right, cool. So basically made a little template to mirror that, so that way when it comes time to putting this on, wherever we find the center line at, we'll just mark everything down, then we can drill our holes, and then we should be set. So, but yeah, pretty much just cut out a piece of cardboard, basically place it straight down, put this on top of it, basically face down to start, so I can trace it out. Once it was traced out, cut it out in the shape, that way it fits, and then basically just kind of give it a rough idea of where these actual mounts are, or the actual connectors are, to make the hole, and then kind of just sticking a screwdriver through the holes to see where we're at. So those holes will probably be a little bit bigger. The bolts on the back will be a good size, so we don't have to worry about that slipping off or anything. But yeah, so now we just need to find the center line somewhere over here and then drill through it. All right, ignore my hideous cuts, holes, everything, but got this primered up. Spray it with some satin black so you won't see anything, and all this is gonna be covered up anyway, so we'll be good there. Then we can throw that in and we should be good to go. Once that's dry, we can hook up our beauty, and then we're really just waiting on some electronic items for the fuel level, and then I think a couple other accessories. So yeah, I think I just made a discovery. If you look besides the front two, because those are always at different heights than the rest of it, you can kind of see, get level here, this one a lot higher than this one. This one's a lot higher than this one. It's kind of mix and match here. So interestingly enough, these were kind of just loose. So I'm assuming the head bolt being tight obviously didn't change anything for that going down further. These were all tight before when I was done with it the first time. So I'm assuming maybe that this came up and it was causing the head to lift a little bit and causing the pressure to come out. So maybe if I didn't take the head off and I just tighten these down all the way, then we would be set. But it's off at the machine shop now, so a little too late, but we'll see. All right, so we got our DTM-4 connector, female side, to connect to the Link male side for the CAN connection. We have all our connections running: power, ground, high CAN, low CAN. I got everything pushed in all the way and it connects right up. So now that we have that, we can get all this loom looking right again, so we can connect it to our Strada 5. All right, so we got the head back. Ooh, and it was slightly warped, just very, very slightly warped. I think you said 0.03 maybe, as far as warped. So he said it wasn't bad at the end of the day. But he cut it down, so that way it should be perfectly flat again. I'm just gonna repaint some of this stuff here just to get rid of the brown, so that way we can actually see silver again on both sides. So that's why it's taped off for now. And then once that's done, we'll get the head out of the car, slap it on this, probably move the old, well, this is not old, this is a newer head to me. Just bought it just in case something was wrong in mine. So we'll put that on the back burner, move that out of the way, and then we'll put our exhaust manifold on. We'll put our intake on once it's in the car, and then we should be set. So let's get to it. All right, we got everything ready to go. Put it in here. I always use the copper spraying gasket. Seemed like it worked pretty well last time, so just reused it again. But everything's lined up. Now we just need to drop the head on and we should be set. All right, we got the head on. Tightening everything down now. I'm going 35, 45, 65. I know it calls for 55 to 60, but I'm gonna go 65 just because I'm using this lovely Harbor Freight one again. But yeah, I think the last time the bolt came loose, or the head stud came loose. So that's what probably caused the head to lift over here instead of everywhere else. It was loose in other places, but it was definitely loose up here. So we tighten those down a little bit more, and then we're just tightening everything down with foot-pounds, and we should be set. All right, head's back on. Now we're just putting all the accessories and everything back together. I'm gonna swap out the timing belt while we're at it. I need a new V-band clamp since mine decided to kill itself. And the one that I got doesn't work with that sizing for whatever reason. So waiting for the others to show up. But everything on this side is done and dusted. So it's pretty much all the injectors are connected. All the fuel stuff is connected. All the sensors are connected. Now it's really just hooking the head fully back up as far as the valve cover, downpipe, and then timing belt and belts in general. So should be set here pretty soon. So I got the spray out, got this painted up just to resurface that. And then everything else is looking good so far. Just locking the timing in, replace these with pretty much straightforward. I thought I had, for whatever reason, I thought I had my other one, but I don't know what the hell happened to it. So I'm assuming I let someone borrow it and just never got it back, maybe? I don't know. So if I gave it to you, hand it back. But either way, yeah. Now we'll just throw this on, throw the new belt on, and throw the rest of this stuff back together. All right, cool. We got the Link Strada installed. Bent the hell out of this thing up, but it's okay. You won't see any of that. It's just gonna look just like this, sitting in the dash. It's gonna look so sick. Painted it just black. It was originally silver, but figured I'd paint it black just to kind of match the interior so you don't really see it until you see it, if that makes sense. But yeah, put some holes, messed up a hole, filled a bigger hole. Yeah, tighten everything down. So now that we have this, We are waiting for a few of our connections, so we only need to do this one time, but we can plug the back of this in to test it and make sure it turns on. Let's do it. All right, so we're at the stage where we're ready for water, but I don't have water, so we'll get some next day. The variable TPS, we're going to replace that. The BMW one doesn't fit very well on this, so I'm going to go back to, or not back to, I'm going to get an ND variable TPS, so that way that'll bolt right up, should be good. And then we're going to put the hood on real quick, just to knock that out. Valve cover gasket was supposed to show up tonight, didn't, so that'll be picked up tomorrow. And then we can put our intake on. Downpipe, we're waiting for the 2.5 inch V-band, and then I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. You gotta do the ignition and stuff, whatnot, but that's whatever. That takes a couple minutes. And then a turbo blanket, which also takes a couple minutes. So all that will probably be done by tomorrow night, which will be hopeful. Very, very hopeful. And just in the nick of time, because it is driving season. So cannot wait to finally get driving on this car, beating on it. It's been a while, it's been a long while since I've been able to drive this car a lot. So now that we're tuned and we're ready to go, it should be fun. So let's get this hood on. I lied, I had water in my trunk just in case I had issues for my tube. So let's fill this bad girl up, especially because one of these is leaking. So let's get to it. So for this, I connected everything to the ECU through the CAN connection. That is split between the ECU and I think this gauge and my CAN lambda. So I'm just using one on there all together. I'm just trying to see if this thing will receive power up for a second, and then as long as it does that, we'll be good. So let's test it out. We just need to plug in the back, and then the other one we'll be using for our option stuff later. So we'll just get the first one plugged in and see where we go. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here. Nice. Hell yeah. So now we just need to get everything hooked up so where this is readable and it's reading with the ECU. But otherwise, we can get rid of this old junker with our 102,000 miles on there. Not bad, not bad. And this, once we're ready for it, we're gonna hook it up to the USB, and then we'll be able to configure everything within and see where we're at, really, for all these different views and everything. Oh, it's so sick. So sick. So we'll play around with this, find what we like the best, and then we'll slap it in there. But as a quick idea, oh yeah, 5-inch was the perfect choice. I was gonna go with 7-inch originally, but I thought that was too big, so I was right. 5-inch is the way to go. All right, so I got another extension wire for my Link Strada. That way I can hook up additional outputs and everything with these connectors, which makes it nice and easy. I pretty much just cut off the splice so I can actually splice into this, and then key, I think it's the white one. I'll kind of find out more and then provide more info for that. But that way I can put it into essentially my turn signals and things like that that are essentially built into this, to have it sitting right here on the side, because this is the street edition, not the race edition. The race edition has all the lines on the side, which you can trigger them to be whatever. And technically, I guess you could do the same with these, but these are meant for more of a car, street car style. So yeah, but in order to find out my speed, because we don't have the OEM speed ring, or the I can't even think of what it's called, that connects into your gauge to provide your speed output. This will basically do the same thing, but for the Link Strada. So it'll show my speed for everything as I'm driving, but it'll also give me additional things like positioning, lap times, cornering rate, blah, 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 blah. So we can hook this up. This will be on the back of this connector right down here, that little hole. That's where that's gonna connect to. So if I need any additional, I'll need to get an adapter to connect to that and then turn it into 4 outputs. But for now, 1 output should do. So we'll just get this cracked open and see what it's all about real quick. All right, cool. And if I didn't mention it before, this is GPS specific. So it should just be this, and then we just have some wires that'll plug right into the back of that. So let's get this plugged in just so we have it, and then we'll need to find a place either to mount it up here or somewhere in the hardtop, or yeah, gotta find a place to mount this thing. Maybe up there? I don't know, we'll find out. And it is finally time to go ahead and take the old dash out. So let's get to it, and then we can slap this into place temporarily just to hold it and then look at it and whatnot. I forgot I had everything just sprawled out for now, so I'll do all this later for tucking it away, but we'll just get everything started, shall we? All right, so we're basically gonna follow the same instructions that they give you in order to set everything up for the Link Strada to work properly. So we're just gonna go through this real quick and knock it out. So the instructions will basically just have you go to ECU controls at the top, and then you'll go to ECU controls at the top. You'll go to CAN setup. Once you're in CAN setup, you'll just choose whichever CAN module you're using on your Link ECU, and then you'll go and choose one of the channels that are available. I already used one for my Link CAN Lambda, and then I'm using my second one, which originally was for my CAN gauge. So we just changed that. The mode is user defined. Bitrate 1 mode is going to be transmit link AIM MXS Strata dash. You're going to change the CAN ID to 1000 and then leave transmit rate to 20 Hertz, and you'll click apply and OK. Now we have some readings in here. Lights flashing and whatnot, so it's pretty good. Nothing else is hooked up right now, so nothing else will work. But yeah, I mean, it's on. So now we're just going through Race Studio 3 to kind of figure out what we need to set up, what we need to configure, things like that. I just plugged it in, so this is our device now. So yeah, keep it moving. All right, so I went through a bunch of different settings, essentially coming back to, let me get there. Cool. So I tried it the first time, didn't work out too well because I chose the wrong device, but the second time, because based off the serial number, chose the right device. So you'll basically just click new, choose whatever device is in your listing, and then from that, it'll let you go into the next screen. So we'll just continue on where we left off, where we're in channels. And this will basically list out all the channels that are available for the ECU that you're set up for. Here's the parameters for that. So some of the stuff you can alter and change just by clicking on it. And it'll give you some options to change specific things like vehicle speed, to whatever you want it to be, speed sensor, how it's being read, yada, yada, yada. So you can do that for all that. You can even choose your wheel circumference, which is pretty sick. So basically you can choose whatever channels you want. If there's any specific channels you want to add in there that aren't chosen by default, you can. Some of these are hard sets, they won't let you enable them, but that's okay. Then we'll go on ECU stream, and then you can change these same things that you were doing before. You can change all this. You're basically going to choose your ECU from the listing. So I chose Link and the base. And before I forget, I've changed my ECU settings to the bottom one, which is the CAN bus base, in order for everything to start showing up. As a starting point, not really sure what the overall difference is. Do you want to keep the names of the previous? Cool. And then you can change all these temperature-wise from Celsius to Fahrenheit and vice versa, depending on what you want to have it set to. And if you want a decimal placed in there or not, it's so detailed, I love it. But from there, then we can go to displays and kind of choose what our display is going to be. You can click on any one of these spots and it will tell you vice versa where it's connected to. All these I manually populated in there, so you can choose what you want really anywhere. And I mean, you can choose literally anything. There's just a billion different options here. And these are not the only displays. You can add a whole new page if you want, with a whole random smorgasbord of displays itself. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So now that I have everything I like, you see this, I'm just gonna hit this transmit button, and then this should allow me to see it on this side. So let's see what we get. Transmit. Okay, it's going. And then I can see that this is changing. Now there's a bunch of default channels you can choose from, but this is the channel I chose. I'm gonna change a bunch of it when I get to that point, but cool, everything's in there. It's pretty sick. That is super sick, actually. So this thing is sick, setting my own shift lights, or gear, yeah, my shift lights, so that way I know my max RPM range is 7,200, sorry, and then I just dropped it basically about 500 each as we go down. So that way it starts at 3,000, first light should kick on, and then it'll just kind of work its way up. And then we can change the color if we want to something completely separate, I'm assuming. Yeah, so we can change it to any color we want, which is super sick. So I don't know if I'm gonna stick with the traditional or change it or what, but I got plenty of options to go through. All right, we got the replacement V-band here. That's all in tight, looking good there. And then we can put our turbo link back on. We can put this on now that we have our new valve cover gasket as well. We'll put some contact RT or some black RTV in some of the corners. As always, I put it here, 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 and then back on those two corners as well. So let's throw that on and then we can start the car. All right, moment of truth. Everything's tightened up. I gotta put the ignition wires back on, but aside from that, everything is done. Tightened up, ready to go. So put those on, start it up. All right, let's see what we got. Let it warm up, give it some time, let it do its thing, and then we'll see where we're at. All right, man, and just like that, we're back together again, officially. So head's back on. It doesn't seem like it's leaking from the side right now. We'll see what happens when I get into boost, but at least for now, head's back on, everything cleaned up. It's got coolant in it, it's not leaking anything. Everything's the way it was before, so sweet. But yeah, super excited that this is finally done. And then the last thing that we'll have to finish up as well, we'll just getting the Link Strada 5-inch finished up and set up with everything and attached and good to go. So tonight we'll be basically running all the wires and all that stuff, boring stuff, but yeah, man. All right, so we got everything hooked up. It's all looking good. I just had to trim out a little piece of this that used to be there to allow for this to move over some. So doing that now. So we'll be able to slap it in, run the extra wires over to the ECU, just tucking them underneath the dash and everything, and then should be set. And just like that, we're in all the way through and through. So we got a few connectors we still need to hook up as far as the fuel, turn signals, small stuff like that. But this thing is, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of different features that you can set up and configure and whatnot in there. So we'll be playing around with it for the next couple of weeks, but otherwise, we're done. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace.